Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Third Down Thursdays. My name is MJ. That dashing young man to my right is Connor. As you can tell, I am missing the bald-headed beauty, also known as Coach Bruce. He's got a little family responsibility tonight, Connor, so it's going to be you and me.
It is. And I'm excited because, I know what we're doing tonight,
My glasses
but
are nasty. Hold up. I might go blind for the show. There we go.
I was
I
going
don't
to wear some glasses that I bought because they were very expensive, MJ. Do you know how much these sunglasses cost?
probably a couple $100.
They were $700
Whoa.
before insurance. Now, luckily, my
Whoa.
Mama D's got us right. She got insurance. These
Right.
pretty things were 700. I almost have a band on my face when I wear these. If I wear both of them combined, I got over a band for sure.
Oh my gosh.
But oh my goodness, when we were checking out, I was so stressed out, like I was visibly sweating from
You're
how
like,
much
oh
money
no.
they were. They were like
Oh
700.
no.
I was like,
That's just
700.
700?
It was
Oh my
it was
gosh.
it was crazy, and luckily my mama's got me, so thankful for my mama,
Right.
and,
Right.
and she got them both. But because they were so expensive, and because like I don't want my eyes to get bad, I do want to
Right.
wear them because the screen reflects off the glasses. I can't do that, but I can still see. It's not like I'm blind or anything. It's just I don't want my eyes to
Not
get
like
like
me.
that. No, I'm not like a UMJ.
Yikes. Yeah, I've got the floaters, and there's a lot of them right now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, there's like a lot of stuff dancing over your eyes. You can't if you get like real close in person, you can actually kind of see, um, because it's spots on my cornea, so you can actually kind of see. But um,
Are you farsighted or nearsighted?
one eye is farsighted, one eye is nearsighted.
That's how I am. What is that called, MJ?
Well, it's not astigmatism. I have astigmatism,
No, I'm
but
about to
it's
look it
not
up because
that.
I know what it is.
Because I have that. I have astigmatism. I have so much.
It's something to do with your amygdalas, but there's like a
Oh,
it's like a play on words with amygdala. That's the disease where one
really?
eye is yes. Because I remember going to the doctor's office and my prescription like completely flopped. When I started wearing these glasses, it was like wearing a, a different prescription. I
Yeah,
swear, it was just like wearing somebody else's glasses. And they were like, oh, your eyes will get used to it. But they didn't catch that I had one eye nearsighted, one eye farsighted. When we can't really watch 3D movies. Have you ever tried to watch a 3D movie, MJ?
wait, is that why I don't like 3D
That's
movies?
why. That's why. Because your eyes, your brain will not allow your eyes to work at the same time. Only one is
Really?
working at one time. So when you try to look at something far away, only one eye works. When you look at something close up, the other eye works.
That's so weird.
I know they explained this to me at the doctor's office, and I was like, oh my gosh. When I was little, I remember going to Ice Age, Dawn of the Dinosaurs in my little sandals. I was probably like 3 years old. I had to be. My grandmother brought me and my brother.
Yeah.
And I remember having to take those off. It's not that I was scared of the 3D. It's
Yeah.
that I just could not stand to watch. And when you're a kid,
You don't
uh,
really know what's going on.
yeah, but you don't really have like I don't want to say like it's like an injury type mm, tendency type of thing. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like when you're older, you can withstand a lot more pain. I don't want to call it
Pain
painful,
tolerance?
but yeah, like you can tolerate a lot more. I don't want to
Yeah.
call it painful, but your tolerance also is that of like annoyance, maybe. When you're older,
Okay.
you're a bit
Yeah.
more mature, you should be
Yeah.
able to,
You can put up with more.
withstand that type of stuff. But when you're little, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I looking at? It looks like throw up on my screen. I need to take these off right now.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
But it
But
was it
that's
was wild.
yeah, that's crazy because it's always been weird for me. So the way I remember it is my left eye is the one I can see further with because it was good for baseball because I could see the pitch.
But did you play with glasses when you played baseball?
Um, Once I was like 11, but
You said 11?
yeah, I got glasses when I was like 10 or 11.
Oh, shoot. They caught that late then.
Yeah, I was blind for years. And that's what's crazy is I was good at baseball before I got glasses. And then all of a sudden I was like, the ball has stitches. And, and my dad was like, "You're kidding me, right?" And I was like,
You
"Well,
thought it was
obviously
just a round surface.
I've thrown it, so I know it has stitches, but like I've never seen them coming at me before." And he was like, "What?" Like, yeah, I didn't know. I saw the little white thing coming at me, and I'd hit it. I didn't
That's
ask
what my
questions.
dad always told me. He's like, son, you can't hit a ball because your depth perception's off. You
Yeah.
need glasses. And then I get glasses, and it wouldn't help. I was just bad at baseball.
Well, we can't fix that, brother.
No,
There's
I
there's
just
only
could
so
never
much
hit the
we can
ball.
do about that.
I could
Hitting
never
is
hit the ball.
Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. Yes, absolutely, Jack. Absolutely. And that's the thing is like I was decent. I got way better once I could see. I was like, "Oh, this game is easy."
So 11th, you're starting kids pitch, right? When you're like 10 or 11 years old.
Oh no, I was doing kids pitch by the time I was like 8
Do they have kids pitch that early?
if you're good enough, yeah.
I just could have sworn it was coach pitch up until like 10 or 11, or maybe 9, maybe. Because the
Yeah.
way they did it when I was playing was like it was in age groups. So you had like 7 and 8 year olds, and then 9 and
Right.
10 year olds, and then 11 and 12 year olds. No, and it stopped, it
Yeah.
capped at 12 because once you got to middle school, your school usually had baseball. But
Yeah.
you don't have really elementary baseball. You have to play like the youth league. It
Park
was called
district,
Dixie
yeah.
Youth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was called Dixie Youth. I mean, I'm sure they have it in Texas. They have it pretty much
Probably, yeah.
all in the southeast. I think the age group that started it was that cap, that 11 and 12 year olds, if I'm not
Really?
mistaken. If my dad's here, he can check me on that. I don't know if he's still here, but I
That's
don't
wild.
ever remember pitching before like 11 because if you think about it, I don't know if it was you. The strike box for an ump for an 11-year-old is about triple or quadruple that of an MLB player. So you could be literally hitting it
Yeah.
up on your head like
Yeah.
this, and they
Yeah.
would call that crap a strike.
Yeah.
That's why I could never hit the ball because you just me, I'm like more of an intellectual athlete. I like to kind of see the game in a way that makes sense to my brain. When
Right.
the batter's box is my entire body and then some, how am I supposed to know when the most efficient and accurate way to hit the ball, where that placement's going to be, if it's so inconsistent because the batter's box is a freaking 100 yards up and down?
Right. Yeah, I can't do it without my glasses. I just can't. Um, no, you're not wrong, and that's one of the reasons that I was so good at a young age was because I could throw a strike. It didn't have to be crazy accurate. Um, yeah, Forest T-ball 5 days coach pitch. Yeah, that's how mine was. So by the time I was 9 years old,
Okay, so it
we
was
were pitching.
9. Okay.
Yeah,
So I guess, yeah, 9 and 10. Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense.
but I
He's right.
was normally like a year up.
So did you
I was
play up?
a lot of the time, yeah. Like I was
That couldn't
playing
be
in a
me.
league with 14-year-olds when I was like 12 or 11.
They had that. I
What do you
mean, I
mean? What
guess
do you
they
mean they
had
had that?
like, because whenever I got into middle school, it was like, okay, you got to try out for your school's
Oh, Connor,
baseball
I was
team.
well. Okay, first of all,
Were you playing like rec or fall ball or something?
middle schools here don't have baseball teams.
Oh, that's what it is.
So you played park district or travel until you were in high school. Um, the only sport that middle schools here had like, or in Illinois, in Chicago had like football, basketball, volleyball. That but none of them really had baseball teams. Um,
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, so basically you could always try out for a team at a higher age bracket or higher age level, and if you made it, you made it. If you didn't, then you would kind of just get dropped down to your age.
Well, I
So,
guess baseball in Mississippi, I guess, is like sort of a claim to fame, if you will.
uh-huh,
I mean, there's a lot of great baseball athletes, and
right,
and, and there's times where all three universities here in Mississippi will make the super regional, and a
right,
couple of them will make the College World Series. I mean, I don't know a year, and I'm a little. I didn't start keeping up with college baseball until a lot later,
yeah.
so this is probably take this with a grain of salt. But I don't remember a year that Mississippi State, Ole Miss, or Southern didn't make the super regional.
That
Take
all
that with a
three
grain of salt.
missed.
That all three missed. Take that with a grain of salt because
Probably
I
very
didn't
rare.
start keeping up with it. But if you think about it, State won the College World Series, then Ole Miss won the College World Series. It was back to
Right,
back years. So it's kind of like a claim to fame. They're gonna start you young playing like I guess I don't want to say professionally organized baseball,
right,
but when you're playing for a team like your school, you probably tend to put a little bit more effort because you know there's an investment there. If you just play for a team for 2 years and you're done, how does that seem to a 13, 14-year-old brain? It's like, oh, well,
right.
there's not much investment there. Why would
Yeah.
I put my heart and soul into something whenever I can't continue to do that?
Well, that's why in Chicago is basically all travel ball. So
Mm.
it was all like privatized. You just go to travel tournaments. Um, so we had Park District, but the Park District season was like April and May, and then you did travel ball June, July, August. It's also just harder because it was cold, so you don't really get all of the months of baseball that you get in Mississippi or Texas or Florida. Like that's why all the great baseball players are from there. In a 15-year span, our three universities made the College World Series 6 or 7 times. Wow. Yeah, that'll do it.
It's a high
That'll do it.
number, but I just kept up with it so late, and to be honest, I didn't go to a baseball game last year. I didn't.
Like a USM game.
No, state game. I
Oh,
didn't go to one. And it was just
why
because I
would you?
was well, it's during the week. Well, because last year wasn't too great. After the
Yeah.
World Series, after the winning the World Series, it was a big slump. It's like
Okay.
the Super Bowl curse, the team
Yeah.
afterwards is just terrible, like the 49ers this year, for example. Didn't even make the playoffs. Um, but now it should be, I mean, preseason top 20, I know at least for Mississippi State. And I mean, when you're ranked like that, you should go to the games. And I feel bad I didn't go, but I went to every football game and we only won 2 games. Most people aren't even going to go to one game after they see all those losses. But I
Right.
like football a little bit better and I can understand it a little bit more uh, just because I spent a lot more time around it. Baseball, I like it. It's just I told you I'm more of an intellectual when it comes to sports. So I have to understand it on that level before I kind of fall in love with it. And I just haven't done that yet with baseball.
There's no way this man just brought up hockey.
Dude, he does this every time when I bring up state. He does it every time with hockey. He does it every time. I've heard they are the best sport to watch in person. It's the best sport to watch in person. I haven't done it.
I
You're
went
right
to
by the Dallas
a
Stars, aren't you?
yeah.
How far
That's what I
away
was
is
gonna
that?
say. It same as the Mavericks. It's like 30 minutes. Um, they play in the same arena. So we went to a Stars game recently. It's fun, but I don't enjoy it more than I enjoyed watching the Mavs in person.
Is it
I
better
don't
than football?
know.
So do people just lie to lie?
Well, let me say, I think the average hockey seat is probably better than like the football seat you could get for that price, but I just don't enjoy hockey as much. So if you're talking about like the average sports fan in America, I think they're all going to choose football. I just think they are. Um, I also get more entertainment out of watching a lower level football game than I would. Like, I would not go watch any hockey that was not the NHL.
I think this is what you're trying to say though. Like the seats are just
Yes, the
it's just
seats are
all
just closer
closer. Yeah.
by nature. It's the same with the NBA. There aren't really far away seats for the most part, like the NFL, just because of how the stadiums are built. Same where you can have seats that are super far away in an MLB stadium. Um, it's really cool when you're up on the action for football or baseball, but there are more seats that are further away. But also, I would much rather go watch a AA baseball game or a college football game, or even, here in Texas, heck, a high school football game than I would
Oh
watch
man.
anything below the NHL. Like, heck no. I'm not going to watch anything below the NHL. I barely even would go watch the NHL. Like, I didn't pay for my tickets to the Stars game. So, I would not pay to go watch a hockey game. I don't care how close I am to the action.
But I try to look at it at like a non-biased, unbiased, if you will. There's a word for that. Standpoint. I love football, but I've never been to a hockey game, so I can't say, oh well, football's better, yada
They're
yada
not
yada.
as
I
much.
mean, I've been blessed with the opportunity to sit at the press box and watch the games. So it's a great view. I'm getting like
Yeah.
the entire field, the whole view.
Yeah.
Hockey, people want to be right there. I mean, they want to lick the glass as the freaking players ram up into it.
Right.
And I think one of the cool parts is, and this is also in lacrosse, people will catch hands and the rest won't stop them.
Oh, yeah.
They'll stop a fight in football, but it is like an unspoken rule that if somebody starts catching hands, nobody touches. It's like two dogs fighting. You don't break up two dogs fighting.
Yeah.
That
was what I was disappointed about, that we went to that
you didn't get
game.
to see that.
Nope, nobody fought. We tried to egg them on. We tried to yell at them, but it didn't work. Well, we were up in a box, so you can't really. I'm sure that they can't hear you all the way up there. But yeah,
You
it's
should have
just
been like Will Ferrell with the cigarette and the elf costume. Have you seen that?
gosh,
You know what I'm
yes,
talking about?
I have.
At the
Yeah,
hockey game, yeah.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the only thing hockey's good for, especially in Dallas. It is just a social event. It is nothing more than that in Dallas. It is a social event. Heck, at this point, the Rangers are just a social event.
Didn't they just go to the World Series?
Yeah, and they were bad last year. They were bad. And so you see, like, girls in little short dresses. I'm not to get you excited, Connor, but like,
I'm not getting excited, I promise.
they're in little nightclub dresses, and then they leave in the sixth inning, and I'm just like, what are you doing? They're literally only there for the Instagram photo, and that's it.
He said, man, by the way. I don't think an observation is against MJ's vow to marriage.
Thank you.
He's simply observing what he has witnessed at these games.
Yeah. Yeah, most of them should not be wearing those dresses, but that's a whole different conversation. I'll save that for me and Bruce.
Well, if you're ready for a different conversation, MJ, I think it's time because
oh yeah,
I'm ready to go get some.
Oh, what do we get?
And by that I mean I'm ready.
Oh, okay. I am also ready. I don't know what I'm ready for, but I'm ready.
All right. Well, here we go. Here's the banner. Davis Division.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna get up about it, but it's a Thursday afternoon. It seems pretty chill around the place, considering Tanner just went back home. So
yeah,
there's nobody here. It's just me, and I'm just gonna kind of be chill about it. Yeah, it's just me and you and Jay, and hopefully Jah Joyner here.
We'll see. Maybe yes, maybe no. We'll see.
I hope he got the email.
We're on athlete time. What can I say?
But in the meantime, hope everybody enjoys a nice little Davis Division episode, because this is going to be a Ravens themed Davis Division.
Oh.
And I'm excited for it because I have seen something in the news that I have not seen before.
Okay.
So here it goes. Okay, let me paint a picture. Let me paint you a picture. Let me get the right scene for you. Give me 1 second. Okay. MJ.
Yes.
What were you doing in 2019?
In 2019, I was in my sophomore year of college. Well, just freshman, sophomore year of college. Playing pickup basketball. Watching the Packers lose an NFC Championship game.
Okay,
Something
what
like
about 2019, but it's the end of April?
The end of April
Yes.
in 2019. That's when I asked Paige. That's when I asked Paige out. Was April of 2019. That was probably the last time the Oakland A's were good. Packers hired Matt LaFleur. No. Yeah, Packers hired somewhere in there. I don't know. I don't know what I'm missing.
Well, 2019 is memorable for you, but let me paint a better picture. It's 2019. It's Friday, the end of the week. It's April 26th to be exact. That's what I had to look up the exact date because I wanted to paint a picture for you.
Oh, the first day
You're
of the
sitting
NFL
for
draft.
It's the second day of the NFL draft. But round one has already passed. We're kind of at the back end of the day. Round two has already passed, and it's round three. Pick 66. The Steelers are on the clock. They decide to pick a wide
Deontay
receiver.
Johnson?
Correct. Out of Toledo, named Deontay Johnson. Now, Deontay Johnson had a pretty good career with the Steelers. He had 391 catches, a little over 4,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. He had a Pro Bowl nod in 2021, which was Big Ben's last season. But since then, it has been a little rocky. He was traded to the Panthers last offseason because they were like, okay, well, we need to build around Bryce Young. This might be a weapon for him. Didn't work out in Carolina. Then he got traded to the Ravens. After the Ravens, he completely refused to play football. Just flat out refused to play football. He said,
no sense.
hey, I'm just not wanting to play. I don't want to catch the ball anymore. I don't want to do what I get paid to do. So I'm just done.
I'm good.
Okay. He gets waived by the Ravens. Okay. Waived by the Ravens. In December of, let me make sure I get this date right. We'll just say December. December 2024. He just got waived by the Ravens. Okay. The Texans said, hey, well, Tank Dell's injured. Let's pick up a wide receiver that we think could be of use. So give us a little bit of depth.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, a couple games of the Texans. And now Deontay Johnson, all dressed up to play the Chargers, only gets one target. And the Texans decide to be gone with Deontay Johnson. They waived Deontay Johnson. So there's only a couple teams now that could pick up Deontay Johnson. Remember, I told you earlier, this is a Raven-themed Davis division. Deontay Johnson was picked up by his former team, the Baltimore Ravens. And that's not what I haven't seen before. This is what I haven't seen before. Because the Ravens claimed Deontay Johnson, they will now earn a I can't even say that word.
Compensatory.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Compensatory.
Selection. Yes. And I'm a comm major and I couldn't even make that out as I was reading it. Selection for the 2026 draft. That's embarrassing. But Deontay Johnson will qualify as an unrestricted free agent come February 10th. Because of that, they will get that pick. Now, the Ravens, because they are a younger franchise, they have the most of those compensation picks. I'm going to say that. in the league since that began in 1994 with 56. With these picks, they've picked people like Kyle Juszczyk, old Juice, Isaiah Likely, a tight end, and they picked a punter named Sam. Oh, I don't even know. I don't want to say his last name because I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but we'll just call him Sam because I think it is a how it's pronounced. I think it is also a word for male genitalia. So I'm gonna keep it out. We'll just call him Sam, the punter.
Sam
So
Penis?
no,
Oh, it's like what?
no.
It's like what? Wait, so the Ravens get a comp pick for signing the guy they cut?
Yes, that is the weird thing. They claim him. Now they will be able to get this pick depending on the contract he signs in free agency. Okay? So say he
Right.
signs with the Texans again. Okay? The Ravens, based on that Texan selection, that's how their pick will be gauged in 2026. So you know how draft order works.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
better the team. So it depends on the team of the pick. And yes, Jack is right. The amount of money he gets is also a factor. Jack is right. The amount of money he gets is also a factor. So
That's wild.
I'm telling you all of this, and I know there's always a question at the end of my explanation for Deontay Johnson, whatever. So this is true. If Deontay Johnson decides to sign with maybe a rival, hey, he went to the Steelers, he went to the Ravens, maybe goes to the Browns or Bengals. If he decides to sign with anybody but the Ravens, then the Ravens get that pick. Do you think the Ravens will use it wisely? Because right now they're in a playoff spot. Picks are of the essence, especially when you're building to win a Super Bowl. And right now that's what they're doing. So they get this pick. Do they use it wisely? What do the Ravens do with it? And just kind of tell me your thoughts on everything I have just blurted out to you, MJ.
So first of all, it's wild to me that after how Deontay Johnson acted, that the Ravens bring him back. I recognize that they are in a unique situation. He's somebody who hypothetically knows their playbook, and so I understand kind of what they're going for. That, I mean, I guess it's a very low risk, super high reward if somehow he goes out, balls out, and does an incredible job for Baltimore. Who knows? The only thing I would say is I don't think he gets a contract worthy of actually meaning anything. I think that's like maybe a late sixth round comp pick, which that's cool and all for somebody like the Ravens who need to bring some more youth in. That's awesome, but I don't think it actually does enough to make it worth it to bring him back and potentially cause the problems that it will cause, if that makes sense. If that logic adds up to you, Connor, I just don't think it will create enough. I really just don't think it'll create enough positive outcome based off of how much it could mess it up.
Well, the reason I explained that to you, the reason I told you that is because I really wanted to shed light on someone like Isaiah Likely. You know, you have somebody like Mark Andrews for the Ravens. You're like, okay, this is our guy. He's been a great tight end for the last couple of years. But this year it seemed like it was the Isaiah Likely show. And that's what I really wanted to shed light on, because if you're someone like Isaiah Likely, or even a fan like me, not Isaiah Likely because his mindset was great. He ended up becoming, I think, the starter for the Ravens after this season. A mindset like me, it's like, okay, you pick somebody like that to be depth. Usually 6th-round picks. If they shine, they're usually a depth piece, right? Isaiah Likely ended up being more than that. So do you use your 6th-round pick wisely? You could end up getting a depth piece. You could end up getting a starter. You could end up getting a Deontay Johnson who you just decide to waive. So the Ravens are in a not a predicament, but they're in a pretty good place considering they played this so smart, MJ, by
Yeah.
signing Deontay Johnson. I mean, it could have been a bag of chips and a Diet Coke they signed him for, and now they're going to get a pick out of it,
Yeah.
depending on where he goes.
Yeah. It's smart. It's smart. I agree. Yeah.
But MJ, I don't know if you see who is at the bottom
I do. I
underneath
do.
us. Before we bring him on, I do want to say, even though the Ravens played very smart with signing their wide receiver Deontay Johnson, something else that's very smart that you can do is grab some home insurance with Erie Insurance.
Oh, yes.
Erie Insurance says here's to the grown-ups who move, mortgage, mow, and still bust a move. But does your home insurance still fit? Erie helps you protect the home you've grown into, all at fair prices that are often less than the other guys. So how do you find the right coverage? Magic. Nope. Local independent agents who get to know you like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.
Erie Insurance.
And when you call Jeffrey Tepney at 704-464-4544, go ahead and ask him if he thinks the Ravens will use the pick wisely and what they decide to do with it. MJ, you can give an introduction if you want me to give an introduction.
Oh, Connor,
that's fine. Whatever
Connor,
you want me to
be
do.
my guest. Go ahead.
Oh, you want me to be okay?
I would love you to. Go ahead.
As I have said in the description, I'm the one that makes them. Yes, if you read them, we have a special guest today.
Yes.
And we are on the horizon of the Senior Bowl, probably the biggest year for TDT media. And with the biggest year we had last year, we tend to bring on a little bit of bigger names, maybe a little bit of bigger people, maybe kind of in stature, a defensive lineman, might I add. This is Minnesota Golden Gophers starting defensive lineman. I would like everybody to welcome in, as I introduce Mr. Jah Joyner.
How we doing, sir?
What's up? What's up? How's everybody?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm elite.
Oh, yes, you are.
Oh, you're
Yes.
about to be elite. You're about to be elite when we see you in at the end of the month.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Well, first of all, I appreciate you coming on, spending a few minutes with us. It means the world. Just give us a little bit about your story. I always love hearing just kind of how you got into football. Walk us through your journey. What led you to the point where you are right now, heading to Mobile for the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just the whole journey itself. From a kid from Connecticut, I always wanted to play in the big leagues. But it was pretty cool to go with my dad, and he actually put me in football. So it was just crazy how he showed me the way and showed me just what I'm capable of, and gave me that confidence as a young player, just growing. And so yeah, he's always by my side. He's always been there. Obviously my mom has been there as well, but yeah, he showed me the roots. And I started when I was in fifth grade. So that whole process of just being with the Hatters, and I don't even know if I was a defensive end until high school. So yeah, I actually played left tackle in high school as well. So
Really?
that whole story was just crazy. But the amount of holes I had in high school, that's getting backfired at me right now. But but yeah, it's been a journey. We ended up going to Minnesota. It's been a great process with that for 5 years there, and just growing as a person, a player, and here now, and training for the combine.
I love
do
it,
want
man.
to ask the MJ real quick before
Yeah.
we get into something else. Ja, I want to know though, where did the love from the defensive side of the ball come through? You didn't want to continue holding on the offensive line for your collegiate career.
No, it's always found love tackling and sacking the quarterback. I always wanted to. I low key, well, I always wanted to play quarterback. So me not being able to play quarterback angers me. So being able to hit him gives me excitement.
He said, "If I can't be a quarterback, I'm gonna go hit him."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what held you back from being a quarterback?
Not enough practice, I guess.
That's fair. That's fair. So I want to know, the preparation for the Senior Bowl is very different than the preparation for a game, even the preparation necessarily for the combine. So what are you doing in the weeks leading up to the Senior Bowl, specifically for that event, and how is that different from your normal game prep or your normal training?
I think normal training, you have an opponent, you have a scheme that you're preparing for. Um, so all those aspects go into that. I think the biggest thing with the Senior Bowl is technique wise. So you're preparing for practice, preparing for those one-on-ones, preparing for those team reps as well. So a lot of film with just for myself with the D-line coach we have here with Zach Sensei, and so yeah, just really just preparing for practice.
So those one-on-ones are a huge aspect of the Senior Bowl. What is like the main? I mean, you don't need to share any traits, but like, what are you working on specifically for those one-on-ones? What's the big thing you're focusing on?
Oh, you cut out. You said what I'm working on in those one-on-ones?
Yeah. What are you working on specifically for those kind of reps that you're going to have at the Senior Bowl?
Yeah, we're looking at just showing a variety of moves, showing that versatility in the pass rush, versatility, and those run blocks as well. Just showing that I've been working on my hands, working on the techniques that Saxon's been preaching to us here. So yeah.
Okay.
I
Kind of
kind
what
of
you
want
got.
to follow up your question, MJ. Now, I don't know the beef in the college world when it comes to football, but is there anybody you want to match up against in those 1v1s you just want to take down? I mean, you talked about freaking beating up on quarterbacks. Who do you want to beat up on in the Senior Bowl? We're not trying to start beef, but it could be a little friendly competition.
There's gonna be a lot of competition there, so I'm excited to go against anybody. It really doesn't matter. So yeah, that's the whole mindset there.
That's
Are
fine.
you
I
do
mean,
are you doing any specific scouting? Like, I don't know if this is something that you need to do, but are you watching up on guys that you know you're going to be going against, like during the week?
Yeah, we got the roster, so we'll be
There
looking
we go.
at some things that they do well and something they don't. So
Okay. Okay. I like it. Connor, I know you've been watching up on him a little bit. What you got for him?
okay, so I'm a big stat nerd. I've talked about me being watching sports on an intellectual level. So I did take a little bit of look at your game, and with that, I did like to look at your stats to go along with it. So in 2023, I'd like to point out you had 18 total tackles and 7.5 sacks. So you had a pretty great amount of sacks. I mean, I would love 7.5 from any player on my team, actually, and then 18 total. Well, this past year, you had 32. You upped the number of tackles and then kind of lowered in sacks at 4.5. So I want you to talk about like how your game evolved. I would say it evolved from, year to year. And what's the cause of that tackle going up, those sacks going down? And just paint me a picture, Ja.
2023, we went to that season and we had a new defensive line coach, so it was always pass rush, pass rush. And I think he done a great job with the whole defensive line, showing us technique, showing us the foundation of pass rush in general. And I think that really helped me right there. And translating that to 2024, just new variety of techniques in terms of just like where I'm lined up. So line up in the 1, line up in the 3, line up in the 7, line up in the 5. So I thought those was pretty good to show that on film. The reason why I had an opportunity to leave last year, but the reason why I didn't was because the show I can play on first and second down, and I can be a complete player, and I'm continuing to show that, continue to harp that. Um, but yeah, probably the reason why those sack numbers did go down is because everyone knew my name. So it was more so that. So yeah,
Got a
I
little
can
bit more attention.
yeah. a lot more.
And I can understand that, but I also saw Ja. Now this is crazy to me. You had one pass deflect in 22, another one in 23, but you went up to 7 this past year. You were dropping back in coverage, my guy. You were doing something. What was going on for you to get 7 passes deflected?
It's kind of crazy because a lot of those pass deflections are off like not being forced fumbles. So it was hitting the quarterback, but like getting the hand on the ball while he's throwing the ball. So they count that as a pass deflection. Uh, so I guess so. So yeah, it was more so that.
So you're saying you got real close 7 times to
Yeah,
getting some strip sacks.
yeah, every time.
Not to mention the 4.5 sacks too when he actually got there.
Yeah, so
So I
that
mean,
number could have been a lot bigger. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
he was there, but I mean, you played for a strong conference. Kind of walk me through that competition. I mean, there's people calling them super conferences now. You played in a super conference, my guy. So walk me through that competition, how you were able to. I mean, these stats are great. I'm excited to see you at the Senior Bowl. Walk me through how it was to play against those type of quarterbacks.
Yeah, we well, I picked the Big Ten was because the competition, and I knew this is one of the bigger conferences. You got SEC, then you got Big Ten right there. So just the competition, the offensive lineman here for the Big Ten is really good as well. So I think my freshman year we played against CJ Stroud, so it was a kind of like that's for the first game, or it was a 21 or 2020, I forgot what it was. Um, but seeing the competition, seeing those guys go out there and compete, obviously one of those things I wanted to do, and why I stayed in this conference. And it's always competition. That's why we're gonna see at the Senior Bowl those guys.
John, can you do that thing again where you went SEC and then you went Big Ten right there? Can we?
Yeah, Big Ten,
Yeah.
like right here, SEC. Yeah.
Okay. Because Connor, whenever Connor talks about football, it seems to be like SEC and then like Big Ten's down here. Can we talk
No.
Can we talk to him about that?
There's no way. There's no way it's like that.
This year, I was impressed. I will say. I even texted in our group chat. I said, if Ohio State beat Texas, I will let them know. I will let them know that the Big Ten outperformed this year. I will give them that. This is live, John. I mean, it might mean nothing to you, but for TDT, this is a big moment in history. So I will give you credit. I mean, you even outperformed this year, man. I'm looking at your stats right now. But I do have a question. Looking at your numbers, there's really one important number when it comes to a football player, and that's their jersey number. You wear number 17. Talk to me about that. Why'd you decide to pick number 17? Is there a story behind it? I'd love to know because that's a pretty low number for a defensive lineman. How'd you get there?
I don't have a story for 17. I think moving on from 90 was really the biggest thing because I knew I was gonna be playing. So, but yeah, there's no history for 17. So yeah,
Are you going to try to hold on to 17 when you get to the league?
I am going to try to hold on to 17.
You might have to pay somebody for that, John. You might have to pay somebody for that. Especially, you guess it's going to be hard. You get somewhere where like Devontae has been. You could
I
run
have like five numbers. I got like 90. Hopefully like 17's in there. 55 because I look up to Brandon Graham. He's one of the good players right there. I'm an Eagles fan, so let everybody know.
I'm gonna I'm a Packers fan, Josh, so I'm gonna still love you, even though what happened last weekend. I'm gonna still choose to love you because our friend of the our favorite Senior Bowl guy from last year, Jalix Hunt, is on the Eagles. So yeah. I got like a small little soft spot in my heart for them. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got one question in the comments from one of our editors. He said, read your interview with Justin in the Draft Network about you wanting to show that you're not just a speed guy. What's a tool in the arsenal that you don't think has been talked about much by others that you want to show off in Mobile?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in my game that everyone talks about is the speed. So yeah, definitely me using power moves there. at the Senior Bowl, and but just seeing the reading the tackles, seeing what they're giving me, not pressing anything though.
Okay. You talked about obviously we're talking about the competition in the Big Ten. Who is an offensive tackle that you've gone up against that not necessarily you've had the most success against, but somebody that in your one-on-one battles kind of taught you the most about how to approach pass rush or anything specifically?
Can I be like one of my teammates?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think the best offensive tackle coming out this year is going to be Ariante, and he obviously in my class, so we grown together. We've been close. Like he's one of my best friends on our team on this team. So over the years, but he's taught me a lot, especially one-on-ones and just how to approach pass rush and how to attack tackles. Um, Obviously, he's gonna be at Mobile, so he gonna show me something different. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty cool.
Are you guys on the same team in Mobile?
I think we are. I think they. I do think we are though.
They usually try to do that, don't they?
I think so, because normally it's like normally it's they kind of separate it by conferences to some extent,
Like a locational thing. I got a question,
yeah.
Jay, if you want me to.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you want me to go. So look, we got a revamp of the new college football game, and I have played as the Golden Gophers a couple times. I will tell you, but you're in translation mode right now. You're going to the NFL. I'm gonna boot up Madden 25 right now. I'm loading in those real life rosters in to draft some rookies, and you're a guy that's on my draft board. You talk about pulling out a bag of tricks like power moves and stuff. What's the moves I'm looking at when I look at Jah Joyner? What am I getting when I draft Jah Joyner?
I think I've shown on film that I'm a speed rush guy, so I'm a rip guy. Yeah, really, just be what you call it, a ghost move. That's really what it is. And then you got the long arm as well.
Okay. I mean, I can't argue with what we've seen. John, my last question for you is, we like talking about some of the more fun stuff about football. I've got a feeling that you have engaged in some trash talk in your time in the trenches. What is your strategy to get in the guy's head across from you?
Well, I'm not a big talker. Well, guys, it's kind of crazy because once you become a player, people start talking to you. So
Yeah.
people are actually talking to me this year, but yeah, I really don't. That really doesn't faze me. But when you beat a guy, they just continue to talk and try to get you out your game. But yeah,
Okay. Kill him with a game. I like it. Connor, anything else for the young man?
I don't know. 17 is just gonna be like an intimidating number coming out from the one of the sides of the line. I just whenever they started that, I'm like, oh crap, we're gonna have freaking 250-pound D linemen rushing at me, and they're wearing number 8. Like, what are we
bring up
doing?
that number.
What are we doing? Yeah. You're wearing 17 now. What's going on? I mean, it's an intimidation factor, really. You talk about trash talking, but I think the number just speaks for itself. I don't think you got to do much talking anyways.
All right. Well, Ja, I appreciate it, man. This has been so much fun. I'm very excited to see you in Mobile. Very excited to see what you can do. Before we let you go, anything you want to promote? Any socials? Anything?
My socials is all my name, so if you want to look me up, it's my name.
Perfect. Well, best of luck in Mobile. We'll make sure to hit you up while we're down there. You're going to do a fantastic job. I know that for a fact. So I won't be in Mobile, but Connor will be, so he'll make sure to come find you, say hi.
I will
Sound
be.
good.
I'm very close. I'm very close.
I appreciate you guys for having me, and yeah, excited to meet you guys.
Yes.
sir.
Thank you,
You,
John.
Connor.
Yes, sir.
See you.
Absolutely.
I'll be looking for you, especially
Sound
media
good.
day. Be on the
Sound
lookout
good.
for me.
I got you.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you later.
All
Thanks,
right.
John.
What a guy. He's
Hey,
he's
that's-
going to be very good.
That's our first interview. I mean, MJ, he's not wrong about O lineman in the Big Ten. He's not
No.
wrong about that.
No, for sure.
Especially tackles. Oh my gosh. And some of the stuff I was looking at, I was like, dude, the way he comes off the line.
Mm-hmm. And wearing number 17, he goes
And
crap out of me.
Wearing number 17. Oh my gosh, CJ Stroud better look out. When he's coming for vengeance for CJ Stroud.
I know he brought that up, and I was like, oh, I wanted to. There's got to be something there.
He don't want to name drop, but he did name drop.
CJ, yeah, I played
like without him knowing. I know there's like a little bit of like hatred in his heart for CJ Stroud. He's gonna unleash on the field once he gets to the league.
He's gonna go find him.
I'm telling you, he will. On the field though. On the field.
In our chat, Jack goes, his first step is nuts for a guy who's 6'5", 256.
I know, and a lot of it has to do with like God-given ability.
Oh my
gosh.
I mean, yeah,
size.
there's only so much of that can be taught. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could.
But, yeah, MJ, I could see you being like a.
I don't think I'm tall enough to be a tackle. I'm only 6'3".
So? Only 6. Well, you don't have to be a tackle. You might we could run that with the guard stance or a center. A center. You used to pitch. Imagine just like
absolutely
just doing it backwards.
Yeah, I could be Jason Kelsey. I could be a little piece of crap in the middle of the line. Absolutely, me. Just imagine like me on that line and Kenny is my right guard. Oh, that would feed families.
And it'd be freezing cold outside, and y'all just be enjoying yourselves because that's all Kenny talks about is playing in the freezing cold.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean that Halloween flag football game. That's like one of the best memories of my college experience was like 10 degrees and a foot of snow on the ground.
Hey, got me some cleats, MJ. I'm ready to run.
There we go.
Once the flag football well, we had a flag football game for my scholarship. We had like a little it's called Lucky Day, but it's like a Thanksgiving type get together thing they want to do before we went away for Christmas or whatever. Yeah. They're like, hey, we're gonna have a flag football game. And I said, bet. And I show up with like these compression leggings and because my legs are small and I thought it was going to be kind of cold. So I had to wear something. It was like probably 45, which is pretty cold for me. So I wanted to wear something to kind of like layer up just a little bit.
Right.
I'm practicing with my guy. I brought a dude there to be my quarterback, MJ. He's a little burly fella, and I brought him there to be my quarterback. But these people were scheming against me, MJ. They purposely set me apart from my quarterback. So I had to roll with a dude that was throwing just little rainbow lollipop passes because I'm not going to be quarterback. Okay? I'm just not a quarterback. I have, you kind of get that sense of pride when you're younger and like, oh, I can play quarterback. When I was throwing a football every day, maybe. But now, there's just no way. There's just no way I can play quarterback. But wide receiver was my only option, really.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, MJ. It was 28-28. I had 20 of my team's points. 20. I had 2 pick sixes and a touchdown reception from little lollipop passes. Like, literally, they would throw it to me 6 yards. I would just be zooming. But I was playing the best lockdown D of my life. Lockdown, baby.
There we go.
28-28, MJ. We have the ball. We can win the game.
Uh-huh.
And I'm the guy that they've been throwing to the whole game. Okay?
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, maybe we should get another guy a shot. It's 4th down. We're in our own territory. They lollipop pass it to a guy, which is pretty much a catch. I mean, it's a lollipop pass. All you got to do is hold it in.
Right.
The dude looks forward before he catches the ball and completely drops it on 4th down.
Oh, boy.
It was the last drive of the game for us. That was it. We had a time limit. This wasn't quarters. We weren't playing quarters. The other team got the ball in our own territory. Threw a touchdown against the same dang guy that dropped the ball. And won the game off that. All my efforts playing my little bitty heart out, MJ. And we lost. There's somebody on the other side of that wall. I probably should beat on it. But we lost. I was so upset.
I'm sorry, Connor.
And then I went inside with everybody wearing nice clothes for the Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm in here wearing shorts and some compression leggings, and my face is all red from me playing my little heart out, and I have probably like a little too oversized athletic shirt on, and I'm just like, not only did I lose the game, but I had to walk in and eat dinner with people that was wearing. There's tiers to clothing, MJ. There's tiers to how nice you could wear some clothing.
Right.
And the tiers were way above mine, MJ. Way above mine. Like, I wasn't even hitting that league yet.
Ugh.
I wasn't even in the minor leagues, MJ. I was playing travel, T-ball.
Oh, no.
Travel T-ball. Amateur organized softball. Underhand pitch. Church league softball.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Sunday afternoon.
It was bad, MJ. It was bad. I wish Kenny was here. When is he getting here? I need to do a segment.
I would assume he's coming soon.
Tell him to get his Patussi on here.
Whoa.
I need him. Because we're about to get... I'm already fired up, MJ. You already got me fired up. I honed it down just a little bit for Jah. I was honing it down. I was holding it in. But now it's time for a little chaos. And before we get to chaos, MJ.
Yes.
I need to let you in on a secret. Come closer. Come here. Get in.
Yes.
Get in.
Yes.
How am I about to get to Mobile, MJ?
Driving.
Does that mean I need car insurance?
Absolutely.
Here's to the grown-ups. Your car is now your office, stage, nursery. Sorry. Erie Insurance offers products that lots of other companies don't. That's a big deal. And it's a good deal, too. And with Erie, you get your own independent agent, not a giant corporate call center or some online robot. You meet with a real person, like this.
Your local Erie agent is Building Block Insurance Group. Get a quote today at 704-464-4544.
Erie Insurance.
And when you call Jeff or Tethany at 704-464-4544, go ahead and ask him if the TDT media was lined up right in front of him, who would be his first pick in church league softball?
Me.
Well, I'm going to tell you my first pick. And it's a man whose name starts with a K, and he has a pretty big beard. So I'd like to bring him on for this segment. It's Coach Kenny.
Hi, Kenny.
Kenny!
What's the voice?
Oh, we're just living the dream.
I know you're here for a little bit of college football talk.
Always.
But Kenny,
always.
Before we get to that, I need a little bit of chaos. Where's my ticker? Because now Coach Bruce is out. I don't have the Bears fanatic I wish I had. I had somebody just a lot more cooled down and chilled out than the uppity up of Coach Bruce. But the Chicago Bears are without a head coach. The Dallas Cowboys are now without a head coach. So let's talk about that. There's vacancy in Dallas, and because there's vacancy in Chicago, there's room for the ex-Dallas head coach to move in.
Please.
Michael McCarthy is out. The Chicago Bears need an offensive guy, probably, to build up their Caleb Williams situation. What's Michael McCarthy in Chicago looking like to you, Kenny?
3 weeks ago, I would have said not a chance in hell. But as soon as As soon as the Patriots fired their coach, and I knew they were going after Vrabel, it became a real unfortunate reality for Bears fans that McCarthy's going to end up in Chicago. Not looking forward to it at all.
So you think it's a done deal?
I think it's 80% likely. I think it fits exactly the track record of what the Bears do, right? They end up interviewing too much, paralyzation by overthinking, and then they're going to end up with a guy that they think is a veteran coach that's kicked their ass before and defaults to the lowest common denominator, thinking that it's the right move when it's clearly not the right move. Yeah.
I mean, all I have to say is, if you've watched him crash with Aaron Rodgers and crash with Dak Prescott, who both still had talent at that point, as much as I like to crap on Dak Prescott, and as much as I like to, who knows about Aaron Rodgers these days, but like, it's very clear to me that McCarthy was the problem in those two situations. So you're like, yeah, let's go have him influence the number 1 overall pick from this year. That's a really good idea. It's really good.
Yeah, I think that fits the Bears' track record 100%. Like it makes
It
perfect
does.
sense for them to do it that way. Personally, I would have gone with like a culture builder, whether that would have been, I don't know what they would have had to have done to get Vrabel. I know Jack's going to hate this opinion, but why not trade for Mike Tomlin out of Pittsburgh, or try and do something completely different? You need to break this terrible spell that the Bears have gone through over the past, I don't know, 30 plus years, ever since they fired Ditka, which disagreed with management, was a fiery personality, did things his way. It's been one failure after another, whether it's head coach, which all of them have failed except Lovie Smith for a few seasons, or failed quarterbacks, which they essentially have all been a mistake. I mean, Jay Cutler's kind of an okay idea when history reflects on it, but at the end of the day, he didn't do anything for this team. He didn't propel them to where we thought we would be. So yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible situation.
I think you have to keep an open mind, Kenny, because Michael McCarthy's resume isn't that bad. I mean, he went 12-5 3 years in a row. He put his team in a position to win games. Was it his fault that they didn't win those games? Can you blame McCarthy?
He's not going to have somebody like Jerry Jones who will spend all that money for him in Chicago, though.
No, and it's probably a more dysfunctional front office in Chicago than it is in Dallas somehow, because Jerry Jones runs the entire show. But yeah, I don't see Mike McCarthy being the answer. He may be an answer for some team. He may have been an answer 5 years, 10 years ago even. But right now, looking at the state of the Bears, what they need in terms of leadership, I don't think McCarthy's the guy. I really don't. I think he might be a stopgap. He may be able, if he's to Chicago, he may be able to produce a couple of decent seasons, but that's going to rely entirely on who he brings in as coordinators. And chances are he'll bring offensive coordinator that'll be gone within a season or two, because he will have worked wonders with Caleb and he'll be gone. I don't think it's a good situation at all.
It's actually a great point. Like, there's just not going to be any consistency there. That's what you need, is you need somebody, like a Matt LaFleur or Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay that's going to be there for like a decade. And Mike McCarthy is not going to be there for a decade. He's just not.
Right. He's be a 3-season coach. All the Bears can magically turn things around, which they can't. I don't, all talking heads in Chicago think that, the roster is solid. We just need a couple of things in the front office and a couple of things on the sidelines to make things work. But it's not there. It's just not, it's not cohesive enough. That you need consistency and accountability. And the Bears are not that. They're anything but that. They're a dysfunctional franchise right now. I think the owners need to sell. You need a firebrand at head coach, somebody who's going to, bite kneecaps, so to speak, and get the players and personnel in line with what the culture that you want to develop is. Mike McCarthy isn't necessarily a culture builder. He took a good Packers team and did okay with them. He took a great Cowboys roster and did okay, but now is faltering with it. So it's there's a lot of names out there that I would rather have than McCarthy, but I would take McCarthy over some of these other unknowns. Some of these other unknowns that they have looked at. I don't even know the offensive coordinator from the Cardinals. No thanks. I'm not interested. Marcus Freeman, great coach out of Notre Dame, but is he the answer for your head coaching issue right now today in Chicago? Debatable. I don't think that he has proven himself as a head coach for the next level, so to speak. So yeah, it's a bad situation.
I think Kenny's just projecting on Notre Dame right now.
He might be, and we'll get to that. But Kenny, is he there? He's frozen.
He's not frozen. He's just, or is he frozen?
I think he's frozen.
He's definitely frozen. He's not that good at holding his face like that.
I was going to ask him a very important question. Well, as Kenny fixes his technical difficulties, I guess I'll ask MJ, and he can chime in when he gets back. I'll be watching down there, but I'm going to remove him for now until I see that little jersey move again. MJ.
Yes.
So I know you're obviously not the Bears fan, and Kenny can touch on this when he gets back. But is it that they are disagreeing with Michael McCarthy as the answer, or is it much broader than that? We're disagreeing as an offensive guy as the answer, because what Bruce wants is a defensive guy to come in. But why bring a defensive guy when all of your mindset is, especially in Chicago, is build around Caleb Williams?
Well, so I think the problem is they need answers everywhere. And so you can make either argument that they need an offensive guy or they need a defensive guy. They need everything. And so obviously anybody in that room, in that decision-making room, can say, hey, I need an offensive guy, or no, I need a defensive guy. And I get it. But at the end of the day, you have to choose what you want. And I think this is what Kenny was talking about. You have to choose what you want your team identity to be, what you want your culture to be, what you want like the core values of your franchise to be. And is that we want to go score a lot of points. That's what the Cowboys do. We want to be flashy. We want a lot of turnovers. The Cowboys are never really going to build from the trenches. They'll have good offensive linemen. They'll have good pass rushers, but they're never going to be a run the ball 30 times in a game and, limit the opposing team to 80 yards rushing a game. That's just not who the Cowboys are going to be. Jerry Jones knows their identity. Like it or not, Jerry Jones knows how he wants to build a team. The Bears don't even know how they want to build a team. So when you don't know how you want to build it, Connor, it's very hard to decide who you want to help build it. That's just a matter of fact. So if you can't figure out what your identity is, if you can't figure out like what side of the ball you even want to focus on, yeah, I could see them disagreeing between Mike McCarthy and somebody else, or even the different philosophies of a Mike McCarthy, versus the Cardinals offensive coordinator. Those are two very different offenses. One is probably going to be much more comfortable for Caleb Williams, the Cardinals style, because that kind of comes from the Cliff Kingsbury tree that he's comfortable with. The Mike McCarthy style, he would not be comfortable with. He would not be comfortable in a traditional West Coast offense right now. And that's what you saw last year with Shane Waldron's system, because that's what that is. That's what he was running with Geno Smith. Great for Geno Smith, not great for Caleb Williams. And so there's way more than just, Mike McCarthy has done this. It's okay. What system is he running? Is that good for Caleb Williams? Is that good for the culture? Do they have the personnel right now to get it done? Do they even have enough resources this offseason to get to a point where they can feasibly run that for a year and not mess up Caleb Williams? And then you also have to look at, are we investing all of this on the offense when our defense crashed and burned without Matt Eberflus calling plays, which I never thought anybody would say, but it's true. So they thought their defense was all taken care of. Clearly it's not. So who are you going to get in there to run that defense? Like, there's so many questions. And I think that's what Kenny was saying, is it's not just the head coach. There are so many questions that have to be answered before there's any type of relevance again.
So who do you bring in to help with Caleb Williams? And Kenny, you can answer that. I just wanted to give that as a next thought. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No. So to answer your question, I think that the Bears do this every time, right? If Matt Nagy was an offensive personality, wasn't working out, so now let's go with Eberflus, who's a defensive personality, and we're just going to keep flip-flopping until we kind of figure it out. And it sucks that you have to go 40 years back before you get to like a coaching dynamic that worked. Was an offensive mind, and Buddy Ryan was the defensive mastermind behind that 46 defense, and it gelled together. Whereas almost we had two head coaches, because Buddy Ryan would eventually go on to the Eagles. The point is that you need to find a compatible match, just like MJ was saying. Like, if you're going to go defense, I don't mind to go defensive minded again at head coach, but you need to find the right guy for offense. You need to figure out, what is Caleb Williams about? How can we best navigate that situation. His personality, two, his abilities. Where are his abilities, and how can we progress him? And that starts in the trenches. You need to fix that offensive line. You need to fix your running back problem, and then Caleb Williams will start to flourish, I think, with the right mentorship. So go defense. I don't care. Good defensive head coach, but find the right guy on offense, whether that's trying to steal Kingsbury out of Washington, which I don't know if he would take another OC gig or not, but that could be an answer. Why not throw a ton of money at Lincoln Riley? Because Lincoln Riley was the quarterback whisperer for Caleb Williams at USC, and Williams followed him from Oklahoma. So, there's solutions, but are the Bears willing to take those necessary steps to get to it? Are they willing to spend the money? Are they willing to gamble? Because I think Poles is probably fearing for his job now. So is he going to gamble, or is he going to take a safe bet? McCarthy might be the safe bet, but we got to roll the dice. Nothing else has worked. It's time to roll the dice a little bit.
And I do think that's part of the problem is Poles could probably save his job with a 10-7 season from McCarthy. And because that would be one of the best seasons the Bears have had in a decade. So if McCarthy could get them that, which he probably could, to be honest, that would probably save Poles' job, but it doesn't actually do anything. They're not going to win a Super Bowl with Mike McCarthy at the helm. They might make a playoff appearance, but they're not going to go anywhere. And so I think that's what you're saying, Kenny, is like they have to come up with something unconventional. What they've been doing isn't working, so they have to think outside the box. Otherwise, it's going to be the same thing over and over again, and they will keep being the sad stepchild of the NFC North.
100%. I mean, and that you look at, right, so you go back about 20 years now, you think about Lovie, right? Lovie's defensive-minded head coach, and the offense floundered. It was a terrible system. I forget who they had at offensive coordinator. I think it was Mike Martz for a little bit, but it's just the same dink and dunk. Here we're going to go with a screen on 3rd and 9. Like a screen's going to magically work all of a sudden. You got to get guys past the marker in order to progress down the field. And it's the same tired routine every single time that we go through this. And the Bears used to be a marquee franchise in the NFL. Now it's a laughingstock because of all of the turmoil that they continuously put themselves through. And, meanwhile, you have the Steelers, who have only had, 2 or 3 head coaches in their entire franchise history. You have other franchises like the Patriots who have come essentially out of nowhere and created a dynasty. The Chiefs figured it out early in the 60s and again here in 2020s. Like it makes sense. You need to take a risk every once in a while, and the Bears just don't do it. They handcuff themselves and they fall by the wayside. We're essentially the laughingstock of the NFC, not just the North, the entire NFC.
Yeah, I mean Matt LaFleur was a risk. Matt LaFleur was not a known commodity when the Packers hired him. He was the freaking Titans offensive coordinator, and everybody thought he got carried by Derrick Henry. Well, now you see what he can do with any running back, and kind of makes sense why Derrick Henry was so successful. Obviously, he's a beast, but you just never know until you get a guy at the helm and see what they can do to some extent. Oh my gosh, Jack.
Well, if always doing the
watching
safest...
that Hard Knocks. Sorry, go ahead, Connor.
Well, if you want to say something quick, you can, because I'm going to ask a question and you're probably going to answer it.
I was just going to say, watching that Hard Knock, I knew it was full of shit. Like that, the way that they sugarcoated it and powder puffed that whole 8-episode arc with the Bears, I knew there was something was wrong with the system. Eberflus was never the guy. I never thought he was the answer. So, go ahead.
But is it safe to say the Bears have really historically always taken the safest bet, so to speak? If they haven't rolled the dice yet, what's stopping them from doing that?
So I think over the past 30 plus years, I would say yes, they've taken the safer route, right? So again, Ditka was the firebrand kind of head coach. He was hot-headed. He said exactly what was on his mind at probably the worst times. He always got caught on camera flipping somebody off. It was those kind of things. And I don't think that scared the Bears organization, but I definitely think that the front office and the McCaskies, when they decided to make some changes, they didn't want exciting. They wanted safe. And that's one of the issues that I think all of the Chicago franchises have right now, is that they're playing it too safe. They would rather put, bums in seats, raise the ticket prices, get as much revenue from that as possible, knowing that if you put out a mediocre to just above mediocre program, oh, there it is. There's the thumbs up. You get a safe bet, you get revenue, you get money out of the deal. And I think that's continuously been not just the Bears, but all of Chicago, except the Blackhawks briefly in the 2010s. And you can look back, maybe the Bulls in the 90s, but even they dismantled their entire franchise.
We lost Kenny again.
You know, it sucks when I have to go back and edit this and see Kenny frozen for the second time when he's sitting here spewing facts and talking so sound about
Doing
the
a
Bears.
fantastic job.
I know. And now we're just gonna have to cut it so we can come back and talk about Ohio State. It's fine. It's fine. You know, I was really enjoying I don't even like the Bears, but I just enjoy knowledgeable conversation about whatever. I could listen to the Falcons, even though I can't stand the Falcons. I could listen to them, and if it's on a intellectual and knowledgeable standard, I'd be okay.
Yeah.
But Kenny, if you want to keep going where you left off, and it makes sense for a potential future video, which will be a video, you can continue.
I was just saying that, like, it's something that is indicative of Chicago sports, especially over the past my entire life, right? Almost 40 years of this. It is a continuing factor where all we do is all the front offices do is take the safe bet. Jerry Reinsdorf is 100% guilty of this, especially with the White Sox. You put together a mediocre to just above mediocre franchise or roster, and then you can fill the seats a little bit, enough to cover your expenses, raise your ticket prices, and that's just how Chicago sports has worked. I can't think of one owner or one ownership group right now in Chicago that is dedicated, one, to the fans, which they should be, and two, to winning. Like, those should be your two primary focuses. And when I look at the White Sox, the Bulls, the Blackhawks now, and the Bears for over 35 years at this point, it's all about the bottom line. That doesn't get you anywhere, and it makes it easy to play it safe, right? And it makes it easy not to try and push for the championships.
He's right.
Perfect. That's going to be the end of the video. So it's not too long. But I can just see Kenny's face fading into an end screen and then the previous video popping up with a subscribe button. So if you haven't watched to an end of a video to see that's not a live stream, go ahead and consider clicking that little circle TDT media bottle cap if you are not subscribed. And make sure that button is gray and not red, because if it is red, I will find you and I will force you to put your passcode in on your phone, and I will personally click subscribe until that button is gray. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're gonna get there pretty soon. All right, guys.
Kenny, are you subscribed?
I thought so.
Okay, I don't know.
He doesn't know. Bruce probably doesn't even know if he's subscribed.
I subscribed from the first time when I saw you guys at the combine coverage.
You're right.
He's an OG MJ.
He really is.
Disrespect Coach Kenny right here.
I'm sorry.
I think. But I'm also from a different generation, so who knows if I click the button?
That's a fair point.
Especially on Coach Kenny's own segment on TDT.
Yeah, right.
Coach's Corner.
Oh, yeah.
So, Kenny! Coach Kenny, can you take it away?
Yeah, so Monday night, the big one, the national championship for college football in Atlanta, Georgia. The Ohio Buckeyes are going to play Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish. A classic matchup where two of the old school powerhouses from the Midwest are going to meet, I think, for the first time for the national championship. And I think it's the first time since, if Notre Dame wins, it would be the first time since '88. If Ohio State wins, it would be the first time since the 2015 national championship, rocking the jersey. And it is going to be electric. I think it is everything that the 12-team playoff needed. It is everything. It proves every 4 teams just enough. It solidifies the idea that we have now in the NFL, that we've had for decades at this point, that you can have a bad day, you can still be the best team in the nation, or the best 2 teams in the nation, right? Obviously, Notre Dame had struggled with Northern Illinois, a MAC program. They're moving to the Mountain West next year, but a MAC program. And Ohio State, who had a tough 1-point loss to arguably the nation's best team and a stumble at the finish line against the team up north. But it still proves, this 12-team playoff has proven without a shadow of a doubt that the best teams are in and you have the best possible matchup coming to you on Monday. And I can't wait. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch how that game unfolds.
Oh, boy. So, Kenny, who's going to win?
I am, since the Tennessee game, I have made 0 predictions for Ohio State in the playoffs. You all know who I want to win, and I am going to not make a prediction because, again, not superstitious, little stitious. So we're gonna keep the predictions to myself. We all know I want Ohio State to win. We all know that I respect Notre Dame as a football program. A little inflated over the past 20 years or so, but they deserve to be there on Monday night, and we'll see who wins.
So it sounds like Kenny's saying that Ohio State is going to win.
How does it feel to watch an Ohio State alum coach against your Buckeyes in the national championship?
So I was really, really excited when Marcus Freeman got the Notre Dame job. One, I hate Brian Kelly. I think he is a travesty of a head coach that doesn't deserve the spot. But to watch what Marcus Freeman did in Cincinnati with another former Buckeye, Luke Fickell, I think that he's a great coach. I think he's a great defensive mind. And you can really see, like when you watch the videos, how he interacts with his players. He's a player's coach. He can get them to line up with them. They will run through a brick wall. And it reminds me a lot of my head coaches when I played in high school. Like I met my former coach the other night, and I would still run through a brick wall for that man. And it's great to see that in college football. It's great to see that kind of camaraderie that you have. It does suck a little bit to watch a former player coach against the team because he knows what goes on in the Ohio State locker room. Even though it's a different era, right? He was a Tressel player, but it's a Ryan Day atmosphere now. But there's still some of the same traditions that are done. He knows the atmosphere in the locker room. He knows the way that Ohio State's going to make those halftime adjustments. So it's gonna be a real chess match, and I'm really interested to see how the rest of it plays out.
Kenny, this is totally off topic, and we can go right back to the Natty. But we were talking earlier. Connor was saying that he couldn't play in the league, and I said I'm big enough, and he was like, "Yeah, you could be an O lineman." And I was like, "Okay, bet I'll be the center. Kenny can be my guard, and we're gonna go mess some people up." I don't know what you said that got me to think of that again. But I just want to let you know that somewhere, someday, you and me are going to get down in the trenches together. We're going to beat some people up.
I'm all for it. I'd love to be in the trenches again.
Maybe Bruce can be our tight end.
I like that. Or a fullback, a mouse situation right behind us.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Oh.
Bruce can't be a tight
right
end.
behind us?
He doesn't have hair. Tight ends have like either really long hair or like at least have hair. He can't be a tight end.
Yeah, you'd make a perfect fullback though.
Really bad.
Yeah, he might have to be a fullback. You know, Bruce kind of is like
You know what tight end didn't have hair? Aaron Hernandez.
He had hair. He just didn't allow it to grow out. He had a lot more than just hair.
Did you see that documentary?
Of course I did.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It like gave me nightmares watching it when it went out because it was so eerie.
Really?
Yes.
Wait,
Well,
are you talking about the documentary or the Netflix remake?
the documentary.
Okay, the Netflix remake is actually really funny because
I haven't seen
the
Netflix
Robert
remake.
Kraft guy, the guy who plays Robert Kraft, is so funny because it's just hilarious to see how people like perceive Kraft and Belichick and Gronk. Like it's the stereotypical impersonations, and then serial killer Aaron Hernandez, gone forever.
Yeah, it was. I don't think I saw that one either. I think it was.
It just came out.
Oh, yeah, I definitely ain't seen it.
I was seeing the clips on TikTok. On the
They're
TikTok.
just trying to milk every
Speaking
single.
of which, rest in peace to TikTok.
Is that getting banned for real?
I mean, as of now, yeah.
Sunday night.
They said
yeah.
that already though, so it's like
Well,
it's
but
like boy who cries wolf at this point.
It's not going to be illegal. Slowly, the app will get worse because it's not going to be allowed in the App Store in the US. Is basically all it is, and so you're not going to be able to update it. But you can still use a VPN, go to a different country's location, and update it.
It doesn't add anything to my life to have it.
Yeah, I mean, there's also nothing you can get on TikTok that you can't get on like Instagram Reels. So.
It's one less social media outlet that we have to control for TDT Media. So,
fair.
I'm not upset whatsoever. It's gone tomorrow. Good night.
I thought it was Sunday.
I don't know when it is. I'm just saying if it was, it wouldn't. See, I don't even know. That's
they're putting it into effect the night before Trump comes into office, so that he would have to like go through a whole process to undo it because it's going to be a law. It's not just a executive.
He can't just do an executive order to overcome it.
Yeah,
so and then you'll have to prove to Congress that it's doing what it's saying it's doing. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So Kenny, do you know any Ohio State Buckeyes that have famously worn the number 47?
AJ Hawk.
Did he wear 47?
I have his jersey. That's my first Buckeyes jersey.
Why are you asking because of me?
No, I'm asking because of the inauguration.
Oh.
Because whoever has the most known number 47, they will win
45 was Archie Griffin. And I have that jersey too.
I don't know who that is, but I do know AJ Hawk. MJ knows AJ Hawk.
Oh yeah.
MJ, you know Archie Griffin though.
No. Why would I know him?
Just from a pure sports trivia standpoint, because he's the only two-time Heisman winner.
No, I didn't know
football history. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So Archie Griffin, Ohio State Buckeye running back, wore number 45, demolished everything in his path, won the Heisman 2 years back to back. I think it was his junior and senior year. Because the underclassmen thing didn't start until like Connor was born, basically.
Yeah, so anybody could win it?
Anybody could win it. It's the best player. Typically, it went to a senior. Archie Griffin kind of bucked the trend, being a junior, winning it the first time, and then he essentially was a lock in his senior season.
Okay.
But yeah, and then in 2000s, kind of shifted to it could be anybody. A lot of freshmen started winning it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's kind of shifted back towards juniors and seniors the past couple of years.
Yeah, I'll be shocked if Ohio State doesn't win the game.
There's only 2 players ever to wear 47 for Notre Dame, and it started in 2020. They don't have the AJ Hawk tenure.
Wait, so Connor, why are you asking that?
Because they're gonna win.
Why?
I already think they're gonna win, but the 47th president is being inaugurated on the same day as the national championship.
Oh, your numerology here.
Yeah.
Oh, it's written.
So number 47. Okay. Because
I'll say the one thing Notre Dame needs to switch up, not fix, switch up. They play a lot of man cover one, and Ohio State can exploit that up and down the field. You play man cover one. So that's the one thing that I think Marcus Freeman's going to need to adjust for his game plan, which they have not adjusted all season. I believe they're the team that has run man cover one the most. The thing that they do a little bit differently than a lot of teams is they will get up to the line of scrimmage and they will back off until right before the ball is snapped. So Will Howard may get a little confused, but I don't see I think a fifth-year senior. I don't think the senior is going to be that confused looking at those lines, especially if it backs into, a single high coverage. But that's the one thing that I think Notre Dame needs to switch up a little bit.
Is Benny Morrison, is he still injured? Is he playing? I haven't seen them.
I haven't seen if he's going to be in the game or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If you want to pull somebody for Jeremiah Smith, Xavier Watts has been playing some good football.
But see, that's the other thing, right? If you're gonna go 1-on-1, cover one, there are too many weapons up and down the receiving core. It's just I think there's a lot of talent there, but Notre Dame has the ability. They've been able, minus Northern Illinois, which is a complete shock to the system. They've been able to easily handle with their man cover one. They've been able to dissect, figure out the routines, figure out the rhythm of their game, but again, once you start getting Jenkins and once you get Trey Henderson out into the periphery, it's going to be a dangerous game to play. But we'll see what happens.
But I don't think Xavier Watts would play 1-on-1. He's usually that lone guy back, isn't he?
I think so. I think he plays pretty deep, but
he's the guy that plays deep.
Yeah, but he would then have to. I think what I would do is I'd probably actually switch up to cover 0. If you want to play man on man, that's fine. You got to switch up to a cover 0 then, and then you have to double team Jeremiah Smith. Like there's just no option at this point. He's too good, and it took everything. Texas took everything they had to throw at Jeremiah Smith, and then it freed up everybody else.
That's what I was going to say. Texas did a great job.
Henderson out of the backfield. The tight ends got a little bit more play than they've been used to in the previous 2 seasons. And then Agbuka he's going to be an NFL superstar, or he's going to be a high pick this year. I mean, I think there's a lot of weapons that you have to consider for Notre Dame. You have to be for essentially everything. And I think Chip Kelly is going all the way back to his Oregon days. I think he's pulling every play he can think of out of the hat, and it's going to be a real showdown, and it's going to come down to the defenses.
I hope my Catholic brethren win. But they won't. They'll need a miracle. Well, how am I weird? Just want them to win.
It's a football game.
I know. But it's the biggest game in college football. So if I can't look at it like who I think's going to win, then I have to look at it from different things. Because I honestly, right now, I don't want to give Kenny all of that, sense of comfortability where I'm just like, oh, okay, well, Ohio State's going to win it all. And then they end up not winning.
I like it better when everybody's doubting Ohio State. I like it better when everybody thought Tennessee was going to roll over the Buckeyes. I liked it better when they thought Texas was going to, just march through and we weren't going to be able to run through that defensive line. Give me all of that. Oregon was too good for us. I want to be the underdog in this. I don't want to consider Ohio State to be in any sort of position to roll through anybody. It's fun when they do roll through them, but I don't like the Ohio State plays to its potential. So if everybody's hating on them, if everybody's doubting them, you see, I don't know if you guys have been seeing it, but Jack Sawyer has been saying it's us versus everybody. It's Ohio against the world. That's the way it needs to be that's how Urban Meyer taught the system when he was in Columbus. That's how Tressel taught the system. It's the 100 men in that locker room in Columbus versus anything that steps in their path. And that's the way it needs to be. And they need to keep up that mentality for the next 60 minutes.
I'm ready to run through a wall for Kenny. Ready to run through a wall for Kenny. You know who else I'm ready to run through a wall for? Not you, Connor.
Jeffrey?
Always. I don't know if we have more, but I think that was about all we had, right? Wasn't Natty?
Yeah, so I don't have to download a 2-hour long video.
Yeah.
Okay with that?
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you to Jah for joining us earlier. See what I did there? See what I did there? Jah joining. We'll be back next week in some capacity. Senior Bowl's coming soon, so get hyped for that. Kenny, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Best of luck to the Big Red, and we will see y'all next Thursday. Give me the card guy. go Notre Dame!
Yay!